You ever had that feeling that you're being watched? Or that creeping sense that something just isn't quite right with the people living next door? Today, we're going to dive into some truly chilling true stories about neighbors from hell that will make you want to triple check those locks at night. But before we begin, let me set the scene. Imagine it's a quiet evening, and you're settling in for the night. Everything seems perfectly normal. Until... Well, this first story comes from a young woman named Sarah. Sarah had just moved into her very first apartment after college. She was excited to start this new chapter of independence. However, her euphoria was short-lived. Sarah soon noticed her next-door neighbor, an older man, always seemed to be watching her. At first, she chalked it up to overactive nerves from living alone. But the incidents kept escalating. He would linger near her door for no apparent reason, leave strange notes saying he hoped she felt safe and secure. She even caught him peering through her window from the shared walkway more than once. Sarah lived in constant fear, never knowing when she might open her door to find him standing there. The property managers did little to help, leaving this poor girl to fend for herself against her stalker neighbor's relentless torment. Next story comes from a Reddit user who we'll call Alex. Alex was a night owl who worked from home doing freelance coding work. He frequently pulled all-nighters, getting his best work done when the world was asleep. However, one night around 3 a.m., Alex heard noises. Loud thumps and screams that seemed to be coming from the apartment next door. At first, he tried to dismiss them as the night playing tricks. But the blood-curdling shrieks kept coming in waves. Finally, Alex called the police, fearing the worst. When they arrived and entered the neighbor's apartment, it was empty. The noise had stopped as soon as they knocked. To this day, Alex still lies awake at night, wondering what sort of horror he heard unfolding behind those walls. I'd imagine. It involves a neighbor violating that most sacred and private of spaces, the bathroom. Jenny was a newly single mom just trying her best. Money was tight, so she and her young daughter had moved into a somewhat rundown but affordable apartment complex. One night after putting her daughter to bed, Jenny went to take a nice long bath, her nightly ritual to unwind. However, as she sank into the tub, Jenny glanced up and saw a face pressed against the bathroom window. A middle-aged man from a nearby apartment building was standing there, watching her. Frozen in fear, Jenny sat there, afraid to move or make a sound. When police finally arrived, the man had disappeared, but they discovered a small hole had been drilled through the outside wall, allowing him to spy on Jenny night after night. Screaming Neighbor, let's take a break from the more sinister stories for this particularly creepy and unnerving tale. A Redditor known as NightTerrorBoi shared his experience living next to what he came to call the screaming neighbor. Every night around 3 a.m. like clockwork, NightTerrorBoi would jolt awake to the sounds of a woman screaming in utter anguish from the apartment next door. The screams weren't muffled or contained, they were shrill, raw, and filled with unmistakable torment. He called the police numerous times, but by the time they arrived, the screaming would have stopped. This cycle repeated itself for over 2 years until one day, the screaming abruptly ceased for good, and NightTerrorBoi never found out whose anguished cries had shattered his sleep for so long. Reddit user Obscvremaria and her husband moved into their new home. They were told that the previous owners had permanently sealed off the crawlspace under the house. No one knew exactly why, but they didn't question it. However, not long after moving in, Obscvremaria and her husband began hearing noises, faint scuffling and scratching sounds that seemed to be coming from beneath them. They would lie awake at night, paralyzed in fear, listening to something moving in that sealed crawlspace. It went on for months until finally, in a moment of terror-induced bravery, Obscvremaria's husband broke open the crawlspace door to face whatever horror lay within. What they discovered still haunts them to this day. Obscvremaria, if you're watching this, please share the final part of your story in the comments. I don't want to be the one to retell that crawlspace's grim secret. The people you share a street, sidewalk, or wall with can sometimes cross lines that shatter our illusion of safety and privacy in terrifying ways. If you've made it to the end of this video, you're braver than I am. Let me know if you have any neighbor horror stories of your own to share. Just maybe lock your doors first. You'll sleep better tonight, trust me. Until next time, stay vigilant, my friends. The horror is closer than you think. Sweet dreams.